Hey everybody, Austin Odell, AJ Fishing, and I've got another YouTube video I want to bring to you today, and it's something I've talked about a lot, but it's near and dear to my heart, and that's my boat and trolling motor. So I make a lot of videos about this trolling motor. I feel like I'm always improving it all the time on how I protect it. You know, it's a big investment, it's on the front of our boat, it's hard to fish without it, so you know, I try and be really innovative in how I protect it and what I'm running on my trolling motor. As most people nowadays are running a Garmin Live Scope, other, forms of forward-facing sonar. But I've been really concerned about my trolling motor and how I protect it for about the last 6 or 8 years, ever since I was at a Bass Nation tournament on Fort Gibson Lake, actually. And I was staying down there with some friends. I was walking around some boats, late at night. Guys are getting tackle ready. I was getting tackle ready. And I was looking at, actually, I believe it was Brandon Pettio's boat. And I was standing there just talking to him about, how the day went, fishing. And I looked at his trolling motor and I was amazed because I had a different boat at the time. And my trolling motor shaft was just scarred up from, rocks. You're going to get it, scarred up with rocks and stuff, but dock cables are really bad. Anything you're going to hit this shaft on, a lot of people break their shaft, and a lot of times there's nothing you can do about that. But I like mine to be, when I buy a boat, I want it to be, it's clean when I get it. I really want it to be clean when I sell it. So let me show you a few things that I do and have figured out here lately that really help to protect my trolling motor. One of the things I saw that he was doing, and what got me started thinking about this because mine was so scarred up, was he put some protective shielding on the trolling motor shaft. I don't know what it was at the time. I think it was similar to what I'm about to show you here. But, he probably used whatever he could find there, or, probably used whatever he had then. A lot of what I've found is like the tennis wraps and stuff work well, but let me show you what I do on this trolling motor. Okay, so first of all, I don't know, I'm trying to film this and walk you through what I've done at the same time. So some of the editing, some of the video features may not be top notch, but hopefully you all will be able to see this. Starting with the bottom of the trolling motor, I take my trolling motor to the trolling motor shop in Tulsa. Those guys know what they're doing. They do a great job. I have mine reworked, sometimes once a year, once every couple of years. Make sure everything's good to go. Make sure there's no water in it, not going to freeze up. Starting at the bottom of the trolling motor, I'm running side and down imaging transducer on the bottom of here. A lot of people always put those metal clamps on the bottom. Not a big fan of that. That scratches right here. It breaks a lot of the plastic shielding on this trolling motor. We're dropping it in and out of the water sometimes really fast and pretty hard, going from spot to spot to spot when you're in a hurry, going back and forth different spots in a tournament. So I put these zip ties on here. They're plastic. They're not going to cut into the plastic on your trolling motor. They blend in really well. You don't have silver on black. I just love how they look, and they hold really well. I mean, it's not going to let anything shift around that much, and you want it to give and shift a little bit anyway. If you hit a rock or a log, you don't want it to break your transducer. You'd rather it just knock it out of the way and you move it right back. I do tighten these down, not just hand tight, but with a zip tie tightening tool. So moving on up the trolling motor, as a lot of guys do, I put these Velcro wraps on here. A lot of different companies make them now. I put a cable sleeve on this. It just makes everything clean. Most people are doing that now. But even for the guys that maybe don't want this on here, don't have one, even underneath this, I put, and you may be able to see it here, I've got wrapped underneath this, it's actually tennis wrap, I believe is what this one is. There's a lot of different ones out there. There's golf wrap, fishing wrap, but I think the cheapest one I've found, and it's just kind of like a rubber wrapping, and it really protects the cables well, allows them not to move underneath this Velcro wrapping. A lot of the Velcro wrapping will allow your cables to turn with the trolling motor, and I don't like that. I like everything perfectly straight running up my trolling motor, and that golf wrap allows it to do that, or tennis wrap, whichever one this is. I believe it's the tennis wrap. It's the cheaper one anyway. Going on up the trolling motor, this is where I've run into a little bit more difficulty with trying to protect it and making sure I want to keep everything protected correctly. You've always got to have this service loop, especially nowadays. Like I said, with forward-facing sonar, you've got this service loop here. I've got a couple other cables with hydrowave, so I do not zip tie. Do not want to zip tie. No zip ties. Do not want to zip tie these because you can crush the wires. That's not recommended by Garmin. So what I do is put Velcro on there. It's cheap Velcro. You can get it from Walmart. Lasts a long time. Stays black. Doesn't discolor. So I'm going to put that up through here to keep it nice and clean. To keep that service loop on here. Okay, so now as you can see, when you get down here, I don't like the cable to just flop going into this cable sleeve on the rest of the trolling motor sleeve. I've got Velcro up through here. I had to figure out some way to keep this attached to the trolling motor. So what I did on this, if you can see it, is I put a GoPro adapter, I guess is what you'd want to call it, on here. It's very sticky. I haven't had any of my GoPros come off, and this one's not coming off either. I tried a lot of the other 3M and a lot of the other sticky tabs that would stay on here. They'd stay for a week or so and then tear right off. This has been on there for a couple of weeks and doesn't feel like it's going to give it all. Keeps the cable up, doesn't let it fall down, keeps it nice and tight. I may even end up putting another one up here to keep it even straighter. I'm just very OCD, if you all can tell. I want everything crisp and clean. So that's what I do on the rigging of my trolling motor. I pretty much rig it the same every year now. I've got it pretty much down the way I want it. Hopefully that helps you all keep your trolling motors rigged clean and have a better day on the water. Appreciate you watching and following along. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.